Assalamu alaikum. So today we will cover these topics, and I hope first chapter is quite easy for you now, people. And we will move to the second chapter, numbers and sequences. Okay. Also, there's a series, numbers, sequence, and series 2. We are going to see, inshallah. So in this topic today we will cover introduction to numbers, EDL, EDA. This is nothing but Euclid division lemma, Euclid division algorithm. Okay, so this is first fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Okay, you can say fundamental theorem of arithmetic or first fundamental theorem of arithmetic and modular arithmetic. This is a very basic and stronger thing which we are improving in numbers. Okay, we know what is numbers. So some of the exercise problem relating to our topic discussing today. Got it? So okay, let us, before moving to this chapter, we will see numbers. What is numbers? Introduction to numbers. Okay, so what are the numbers? Do we know till now? So numbers, or you can say number system. What are the number systems? So there are, so there's a natural number which present here. It is given by the God, you can say Almighty. So number system, we will later we write this. Okay, so if so natural number is nothing but 1, 2, 3 and so on, right? It moves on. If I add 0 along with the natural number, this will become a whole number. Okay, so this is a natural number, this is a whole number, only the part is 0 is included along with natural number. Okay, to the right side. And what about the another one? Set of all integers. Okay, so negative natural number, if I add negative natural number, -1, -2, -3 and so on, along with this, all this together compressed integers. Okay, negative natural numbers, 0 and positive natural numbers, these are all if I include all these three, it becomes a integers. Okay, so next is rational number. It has certain form, p divided by q, where q is not equal to 0 and p comma q both are taken from set of all integers. Okay, p comma q both are belongs to set of all integers. Only thing is q should not equal to 0 here. So this is a rational number. And along with this, another one, and that is called q complement or q dash. Q complement or q dash. It does not have any form like this, does not have any fraction form like this, fraction form. So this is a fraction form. We say q a rational number and this is a irrational number. It does not have any form. Simply you can write √3, √2, pi, all these things. These are all irrationals, because for rational we say terminating and recurring number. Okay, so rational means it has own definition. Okay, in its language we say it a number which is terminating and recurring is called rational numbers. And for irrational, number which is non-terminating and non-repeating or non-recurring is called irrationals. For example, in rational we say 1/2. This is a terminating number because 0.5, it terminates here, it exhausts at only one place of decimal. Okay, but what about 1/3? If we take, it is going to not end. Okay, this is an endless number after the decimals, 0.3333. so we can often write this 0.3 bar in the prefix, or you can say upside. Okay, so these are the repeating numbers and terminating numbers. These are the rationals. And what about √3, √2 and pi? What happens to the pi? Pi is 3.1415, so 32 and so on. It will go. It will not terminating. It is not terminating and not repeating numbers. Okay, not repeating numbers in the sense like 3333333. like this also. Okay, we can also say this as rational numbers 0.315, 315, 315. It repeats like this, but we can usually use to denote 315 bar. Got it? So these are the rational numbers, and this is a irrational number because it is not terminating, not repeating. Okay, 22 by 7 oftenly it is called. And also root 2 is nothing but 1.4142 and so on. It is also not repeating and not terminating, so this way we can call irrational number. Okay, so along with together with this, I can say the total is q and q complement. So rational union irrational is a real number. Got it? Okay. So rational together with the irrational number. If we say rational, all the integers will come up because p comma q belongs to integers. If integers come, whole numbers will come up along with natural numbers. Okay, everything will be here. And you can include prime number and composite number here. Prime and composite Fibonacci numbers and lots of numbers here. So these represent a number system. Like a solar system, we have number system. Okay, we call this as a number system. So real number is very important in this here. Also the rational number. Okay, so let us go for first topic as Euclid division lemma. Euclid division lemma. So what is Euclid division? Before going to Euclid division lemma, let us look out some simple things. Okay, if you know division, we can use lemma for lemma of Euclid's. Okay, what is that division? If I write 25 and if I divide 4, I can guarantee say that 4 6 are 24. So remainder is 1. Okay, so this is a remainder. This is a quotient. Quotient I call it Q. Remainder I call it R. And for 25 divided by 4, this is a dividend divisor. Okay, so this is a divisor. This is a dividend, and this is as you know, this is called a fraction. Okay, fraction or rational number, whatever you want. And this could be written in the form of mixed fraction. That mixed fraction alone is a Euclid division lemma. It is a concept of creating Euclid's concept. Okay, it is called Euclid concept. So mixed fraction. Mixed fraction is a Euclid division lemma, often called as. Okay, so here remainder 1, so divisor is 4 and the quotient is 6. See, 4 ones are 4. Okay, no, quotient will be here, remainder will be in upside. Okay, so 6 1 by 4, so 6 4s are 24. 24 plus 1 is 25. Okay, let us find the other. Okay, so Euclid division lemma we will see now. So actually before going Euclid division lemma, as I said before, this mixed fraction is almost equivalent to Euclid division lemma, as I explained to you now. See, A divided by B can be expressed into mixed fraction Q, that means quotient remainder of upon divisor. Okay, so this is a dividend, this is a divisor, and this is equal to quotient remainder upon divisor. So Q plus R by B. So here's a division manner. As I have written, this is a dividend, divisor, B as a divisor. So this is a quotient, and there are, if you multiply it by something, there will be some x. I have denoted it generally. Okay, generally it is an x. So if you subtract these two numbers, you will get the remainder. Okay, so this will be your required remainder. I'm not saying remainder. There will be few more steps also you can occur, because A should be, and also one thing remember, A should be greater than B, not less than B. like this. Okay, you cannot write in this form. 1 divided by 4 is not correct because a should be greater than b. You can write 4 divided by 2. In this manner also you can write, but not like 2 divided by 4. Okay, there will be a few more steps to do. If you have to solve the step more, you will have there, but this is a required reminder. Okay, so this reminder should be less than divisor. This should be less than divisor. Be careful while doing reminder. Be careful, keep an eye on this reminder and this divisor. This is an important character in Euclid division lemma. Yeah, I'll explain how it is. For example, see, if we have 25 divided by 4, this is a and this is b, we can write a, we can keep a as a dividend and b as a divisor. Now we have to divide it. So 4 6 are 24, remainder is 1. So here r is not equal to 0. Here r is not equal to 0 because there's a remainder 1. And this can be expressed in mixed fraction 6 quotient remainder upon divisor. So quotient is 6, remainder is 1 upon divisor is 4. Okay, and this can also be represented in this form, and that form can be called as Euclid division lemma. Okay, so here's a formula which has a smiley big smile face in it. Okay, let us see what is that. So let a and b, I mean a by a and b, which I mean here is fractions. Okay, always a and b are in the form of fractions. Okay, understand this clear concept because there, so that you can have a doubt clarifications. Okay, so this is a easy topic, and if you know the number and know the division, it is nothing to trap in here. Okay, so a comma b belongs to positive integers, or you can say natural number. Okay, there's a positive integer. This is a set of all integers with positive symbols. That means it comes above the 0 line. Okay, so here there's a 0, right? So in the number line we can write right side of 0 is 1 2 3 positive, left side of 0 is -1 -2 -3 negative. Okay, we no need negative as well as 0, only we need positive, that is 1 2 and 3 and so on. Okay, so here the condition, another condition is that a and b should have in this way. That means a should be greater than b. Okay, always strictly greater than b. Then there exist means always there is a possibility of entering some numbers. Okay, so there exists a unique means only one, that should not be more than one. There exist unique integers that are q and r. Q is quotient and r is remainder. Okay, such that Euclid division lemma is this one: a is equal to bq plus r. So this is a form which we are going to study here. Okay, so another condition for quotient and remainder, as I said, there is a condition for divider and divisor, right? There's a condition for fraction here, a should greater than b. There also another condition for quotient and remainder, and that condition should be r should be always positive. Okay, positive as well as equal to 0 also. Okay, so r is greater than or equal to 0 and r should less than b. Okay, this remainder should always less than this divisor. Okay, remainder is always lesser than divisor. Okay, so in general we can say always divisor should be in positive. We put modulus sign because that number should be in positive. Okay, so in general I have written. Got it. Now we shall see in this form also how can we write in this form. So a equals to bq plus r. We know a is 25 here, and that is equal to bq. What is b here? Yeah, b is a divisor, 4 times q is a quotient, so 6 plus remainder is 1. And here r is not equal to 0. Since r is not equal to 0, there exists remainder. Okay, so 6 4s are 24, 24 plus 1 is 25. What if we have remainder is 0? So in this case we will have only a equal to bq, right? A equal to bq. So I have taken the examples. 24 divided by 4, that is 6 times 24, and the remainder will get 0. It will exhaust, remainder will exhaust it. So 24 upon 4 is 6. and this 4 can, if you cross multiply, that is going to be 24 equal to 6. 4 times 6 is 24. Got it? And that was a equal to b, but still the remainder is lesser than divisor. Okay, keep an eye on remainder and divisor as I said earlier. Okay, so that's it for now. So Euclid division lemma is very very simple. You have to you just need to remember this form. Okay, this form is nothing but this one. So as I said here, fractions, mixed fractions, right? I'll explain it. See how this form came. So a divided by b can be written as q plus r by b, right? Quotient, remainder upon divisor. If you cross multiply here and add up here, you will get this one. See, a divided by b is equal to b into q, bq. This is a cross multiplication. I hope everyone knows cross multiplication. Bq plus r divided by divisor. Okay, so these divisor both get cancelled in left hand side and right hand side as well. The only remaining thing is a is equal to bq plus r in left hand side and right hand side as well. Got it? So here's a condition for a and b. Condition is a should greater than b, and q and r condition is 0 less than, that is r should be positive integer as well as that should be less than b. So here's the two conditions. Okay, let us have a short note on this Euclid division lemma and then we will move for fundamental theorem of. So this is a first part of Euclid division lemma. Then we will have a Euclid division algorithm. Then we will do for fundamental theorem of arithmetics. Okay. Okay. So EDL, I call this EDL, Euclid division lemma. Okay. So according to Euclid division lemma, we have a certain notes we should follow or respect. Okay. So Euclid division lemma, I denote it EDL in short way. Okay. So if remainder is 0, then Euclid division lemma can be represented as a equal to bq. As I said before, and I have given the example too. So there's a 25, not 25, so 24. If it is divisible by 4, so 6 times 24. So remainder is 0 here. Okay, so means b is so what a equal to bq means here, b divides a. Okay, so it either b divides a or a is divisible by b. For example, 24 equals 4 times 6, so a equals to bq. So here we can say either 4 divides 24 or 24 is divisible by 4. Got it? So next point, if a comma b belongs to positive integer, a is greater than b, such that a equal to bq plus r. So there's nothing but Euclid division lemma according to Euclid division lemma. Then we have certain GCDs, or you can say HCF, highest common factor, either highest common factor or GCDs. I hope you know GCDs well because you are studying from lowest standard, from I think 8th standard onwards, right? HCF, even though now at all even 5th standard also they have LCM and GCDs. So I hope you know the GCDs, right? So GCD of a comma b can also be written as GCD of b comma r. Okay, what I mean here is let us rub this. These two condition is follows good only when this is possible. Okay, these two GCDs condition applies only when Euclid division lemma is present. Okay, only for Euclid division lemmas. Understand this? Okay, let us go here. So GCD of a comma b is equal to GCD of b comma r. Let us, I am taking for example GCD of 36 comma 24. So everyone knows there's a lot of method to find GCDs. So what is meant by GCD first? There's a common divisor divisors among greatest one. Okay, among the common divisors, the greatest one is GCD. Among the common divisors, the greatest one, the greatest one is GCD here. For example, we say among common divisors, the greatest one is GCD. So 36 has a divisor 2, 3, 6, then also 4, 6, 9, then 12, then 18. What about 24? 24 has a divisor 2, 3, 4, 6 again, then 8, then 12, right? So this is also a common factor, common factor. So among these common factor, the highest one, or you can say greatest one, is the GCD. So only we find 12. Not only in this way, we can also have another way. See, 12 is a GCD here. Okay, so 12 is a GCD here. If you want to write 36 minus 24, we will write 12. Now take this value 24 and take this value to subtract. 24 minus 12 is 12. Again, now take this value 12. Then the remainder 1. So 12 minus 12, 0. The value get exhausted, finished. Okay, so there is a no element here. So 0. Then we will only say 12 is a remainder which we have. That is a required GCD. Okay, there is also one another method. I can say 36. I call it A and B. So this A and this is B. So A, B. B is what? 24, right? So 36 over 24, this is going to be have only one times, right? 24. So this is 12. Again, I'm going to divide this with B. Okay, so 12 2 times 24, remainder will exhaust. So this required 12 is your GCD. Got it? So in this way also you can write, either you use the Euclid division lemma. This is a one method of Euclid division lemma, and before I have subtracted method. Using subtracting method is a lower standard method, and finally the GCD method, which we have a standard method there. Among the common divisors, the greatest one is GCD. Okay, anyhow we will find 12 here. Okay, so here what I mean here is GCD of A comma B is equal to GCD of B comma R. See, here we have a B and here we have a R. Okay, even though if we find GCD of A comma B 36 comma 24, GCD of 24 comma 12 is also the same answer. Okay, that is what here says, GCD of A comma B equal to GCD of B comma R. So one more last condition is here. GCD of A comma B can also be written as GCD of A minus B comma B. See, GCD of A comma B can, for example, I have given A by B equal to 25 upon 4. Okay, so 25 divided by 4 is 6, so remainder is 1. Even though if I take 21, the remainder is same, quotient will be differ, but we will have a remainder same. Okay, for this concept we are using the here. So 24 minus 1 is this one, right? Okay. Okay, there's a last point here. If A comma B belongs to positive integer, whereas the condition given here is A is greater than B, and it is said to be relative prime if and only if the condition both sides should apply here. So GCD of A comma B equal to 1. Either you can say greatest common divisor or highest common factor. Both are same in the sense. And here's the example. So here's a two beautiful examples here. So GCD of x comma x plus 1 equal to 1, and GCD of P1 comma P2, and where P1 and P2 are prime numbers. So x belongs to integers, either you can say positive integers or natural number here. So x and x plus 1 are consecutive natural numbers. Likewise, you can say 1 comma 2, 23 comma 24, or 26 comma 27, whatever you want. So those numbers are consecutive. And here prime numbers, as you know, prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23 and so on. So you can take any prime numbers. So here is it. Here the examples are here. So GCD of 3 comma 4, these are the consecutive examples, consecutive numbers examples. So GCD of 3 comma 4, 12 comma 13, 24 comma 25 all are equal to 1. The remainder will get exhaust is 1. And the next example is for GCD of any two prime numbers. Either you can take 7 or you can take any number, but the condition should satisfy this Euclidean algorithm theorem. So Euclid division lemma, not Euclidean algorithm theorem, Euclid division lemma. You should the condition should satisfy in this way. A should be greater than B. Okay. So 7 comma 43, 5 comma 7, 7 comma 13. Not only 7 comma 13, even you can take 17 comma 19 also. There will be GCD 1. If you want, you can try that. Okay. After this, we will go for fundamental theorem of arithmetic and then modular arithmetic. Okay. Okay, let us start with exercise 2.1. So there's a beautiful questions here. So find all the positive integers. Okay, so find all the positive integers. Positive integers we know 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay, either you can take 0 also, no problem, because 0 is neither positive nor negative. When divisible by 3 or divided by 3 leaves the remainder 2. Okay, so I have written in this way so that I can shorten the terms. Okay, for the solution, let A belongs to positive integer. Why I have taken A belongs to positive integer? We mean that already the divisor is given here. So this is your modulo n. Divisor is given. Always divisor will be modulo n. Okay, modulo n. And remainder will be congruence r. Okay, congruence to B or R, both are same. Congruence to either you can take B or R. Okay, so only the possible way is find all the positive integers. I mean that is A, because only the first part of A is missing here. Okay, so can I write in this way? It is good to be have, right? So given here A congruence to 2 mod 3. Okay, so this means that A minus 2 is divisible by 3. We can also write in this way, or we can also write in this way too. Okay, so A minus difference of these two number can be expressed in some integer multiple of divisor. Okay, and that is 3k for some k belongs to integers. Okay, this will be your quotient. This k will be your quotient here. Okay, and from this I have concluded like this, because I have taken minus 2 to that side. So A equal to 3k plus 2 for some k belongs to integer. Why I have taken k equal to 0, 1, 2 here? I mean that, see, if k equal to minus 1, if you take k equal to minus 1, as I said, k is clearly belongs to integers. Okay, it will include 0, positive integer, negative integer as well. I didn't take k equal to minus 1. Why? Because if you put k equal to minus 1, see, A equal to 3 times minus 1 plus 2. Okay, sorry for interrupting the videos, I apologize. Okay, here where was I? Here A equal to 3k plus 2 for some k belongs to positive say k belongs to integers, right? On the right hand side we have positive and left hand side we have negative, and in between right and left 0 will be there. But we took but if we take k equal to minus 1, see, A equal to 3 times minus 1. See, I am substituting k equal to minus 1 in this equation. So A equal to 3 minus 1 plus 2, right? So 3 into minus 1 is minus 3 plus 2. It is going to be minus 1. So A equal to minus 1. But what we need here, what we said here, what about A? A is positive integer. So A equal to minus 1. This is absurd. This is not possible, right? So that is why we are taking A should be positive. Now, if not possible, if we take minus 2 minus 3, still we will get all the negative values in A. We need only positive values, so that I can take starting from 0. Okay, so k equal to 0 onwards. It will give you only positive number. See, if k equal to 0, only 2 will be here. K equal to 1, 3 1 times 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. There's a difference 3 here. So 5 plus 3 8. 8 plus 3 11 and so on. It is going, right? You can do in this way. So this is your first question. Second question is quite easy, and I'm gonna do the third question, which is interesting. The third question was product of any two consecutive integers is divisible by 2. Okay, we need to prove. Third question is prove that product of any two consecutive positive integers. Any two consecutive positive integers, I call it positive integers z plus. Okay, so positive integers is divisible by 2. Can we prove? Can we be able to prove? So here's a proof here. So let a comma a plus 1 be any two consecutive positive integers. Okay, consecutive positive integers. A and a plus 1 will be any two consecutive positive integers, and their product will be its product. Okay, their product. So their product equal to a times a plus 1, and that is a square plus a. Got it? So there's two cases for positive integers, even though we can say this is a natural number. So one is a is odd, another one is a is even. So first case a equal to odd, second case a equal to even. For odd I use 2k plus 1, for even I use 2k plus 1, for even I use 2k. Okay, let us see whether this product of any two consecutive integers is divisible by 2 or not. Okay, take that one. So here, as I have taken, a is odd and a is even, other side. Okay, so odd means for any k belongs to natural number. Okay, so for all k belongs to natural number, we can use 2k and 2k plus 1. See, 2k is actually multiple of 2, right? It will be always in natural or even numbers, right? So if you put k equal to 1, it is 2. 2 ones are 2. For 2, 2 2s are 4. So 2 times 1 is 2. What about 2 into 3? It is going to be 6. So here we are listing natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. But on the output side we got 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. Okay, so these are even numbers and this is an odd number 2k plus 1. See, if you add 2k, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, right? If you add 1 plus 1 to everyone, what will happen? 3, 5, 7, 9 and so on. This will be your odd numbers. Okay, let us have this. See, a square plus a is our product. So if we take this product and have to substitute this thing in here. Okay, so 2k plus 1 whole square plus 2k plus 1 as well. Okay, you just substitute instead of a 2k plus 1. So 2k plus 1 raised to the power to 2k plus 1. So a plus b whole square formula we know already. So a square plus 2ab, that means 4k, plus b square is 1. So plus 2k plus 1 again. See, 4k square plus 6k plus 2. If I take 2 as a common, it will be 2k square plus 3k plus 1. Clearly there is a 2 here which is divisible by 2 again. Okay, so product of this number can be divisible by 2 here. So clearly divisible by 2 here. And what about here? What is the product? A square plus a, and substitute in terms of a 2k. Okay, so 2k whole square plus 2k. So 2k whole square is 4k square plus 2k. If you take 2k outside, it will look 2k plus 1. Okay, but still we have 2 here. It is divisible by 2. So hence we have proved that product of any two consecutive numbers a and a plus 1 can be divisible by 2. Okay, for example, if we take hence the proof. So this is your proof here. You have to take even and odd and have to prove that it is divisible by 2. Let us take some examples according to this theorem. Like we need to prove this. So according to this theorem, we will take some examples. So let us say a and these any two consecutive integer will be positive. Okay, let us take 5 and 6. Got it? So 5 and 6, if we product these two numbers, it is going to be 30, and this is clearly divisible by 2 as a 15. Okay.